Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. This is going to be fun. Well, it has been a bit over a year, nearly a year and a half, since we first reviewed the Revolution Go portable turntable from Victrola. And at the time, I proclaimed it the best portable that I had ever seen. At least I think I did, because I had a very highly favorable opinion of it. And I endeavored to hold on to it, use it under different circumstances, and I have done so for over a year now. But has it held up? Do I still think it's any good, or should we pass on that one? Let's test it out, find out. I'll let you know my thoughts about what my thoughts are of the Revolution Go these days. You're not going to want to miss this. Okay, so this is the Revolution Go from Victrola, and this was the last Victrola product that we reviewed as a sample that we got from Victrola to review, and subsequent reviews we've just been products we've picked up if we've seen them from Victrola. That being said, this was a fantastic turntable. It reviewed very, very well. We had a couple of nitpicky things, which I'm going to mention in addition to other thoughts that I've had related to this unit. But overall, it did a fine job, and I think it's a good entry in their portfolio of products. About $145 for the black one. They have other color variants. They have a new yellow one, a turquoise, a gray, and I think they look cool. But yeah, this is the black one. The idea is it's a completely portable, battery operated turntable. And what sets it apart, you may be saying? Well, what sets it apart is the sound quality. Unlike cruisers and Victrola suitcase players that use that ceramic cartridge, this one uses a magnetic. So the sound quality is phenomenal, and it's a very full-functioned device. So I wanted to kind of walk through it. Also, if you want to see my original review on it, I'm going to put a card at the end of the video for you to check out, and you can click on that and watch that original video. As you can see, mine's a little dusty. It's been well loved, well used. Just made a trip across the country, and yes, it was good enough for me to want to put in the storage container and take it here, because it's something that I really want to use going forward. The shape of this device is very strange. It doesn't, I mean, from the back you can kind of get an idea. Okay, it looks like, it kind of looks like a printer from the back actually, but you can see how, this is the base, this is a lid, all that good stuff. This is sort of this sound bar thing. Victrola seems to be somewhat obsessed with this idea of sound bars lately. With their, I think it was the V1 music system we reviewed. They had this, I think they even call it a soundbar turntable. It's just sort of the way they like to describe their units. But yeah, so this is the speaker itself. This is the power switch and button. Well, I should say the volume control and power button. This is a little plastic tab to remove the lid. This is a handle. It has this thing, they call this a guitar strap. It's like an elastic, somewhat elastic, adjustable band, and you can wear it as a shoulder strap. Man, this thing is dusty. But it's traveled far and came out of a box, and I haven't really used it since we moved. But yeah, I haven't, the idea is I guess you could take this with you to like a record shop or a record show and be able to listen to your records, or you could just take it with you anywhere you wanted to go that you wanted a portable turntable. Let's look on the bottom. We have 4 silicone rubber feet. They're very tacky. They're not sticky, but they grip really, really well. This is a compartment for the power supply. It comes with this, and take a look at it right there. And it fits very, very snugly in there. It's a tight, tight fit, but you can get it closed. And yeah, you can use this to charge up the battery. Now you may be saying, okay, well, it's got a rechargeable battery, so that means it's only good for a certain finite amount of charges before, it's kind of a throwaway item. And that is a fair criticism. I wish the battery was user removable. That would be a very good feature. because the battery will wear down. It may take years and years and years, just like a modern portable CD player, but it could and will happen at some point. And if this thing is dead and you just plug it in to operate it, it doesn't seem, in my experience, to just run off of the power supply. It seems to start charging. So it'll be dead. You'll plug it in, it'll work for 5 minutes and then shut itself off because it's charging the battery and seems to be really powering from the battery. So you'll see some scratches down here, and that leads to what was my number one, and I would say remains my number one issue with this turntable, is that the plastic that it's made from is very, very cheap. It's a very lightweight, cheap, probably ABS plastic, very thin. It does not feel like it would sustain any shock, any drop. It's not rugged. So it's like they've taken a fairly dainty record player and they've put a strap on it and a handle and calling it portable, which is fine in the sense that, yes, it is portable, it is battery operated, but it's so dainty that one drop and this will crack open like an egg. I just know it would. So I've had to be very, very careful with it because I'm not the most careful person when it comes to stuff. And it's just not rugged. You know what I mean? Like, it's not rugged. You wouldn't want a kid to have this as their first record player if you're afraid they're going to drop it. Okay, on the back here, you can see the charging port. It takes the 9-volt power supply we were looking at. It does have an RCA output and a headphone jack for private listening. This particular unit was made in August of 2021, and there is a reset button, which I've never had to use. And the reason why there's a reset button is there is some logic, essentially a computer chip in this that's controlling the switching and things. When we turn it on, you'll see what I mean. There's a voice prompt and stuff. So my assumption is that if you were to, have some sort of fault or things were to get stuck, this would help, override that. So in terms of controls on the outside, that is pretty much it. The strap is just connected over these protruding pegs on the side. The handle does snap in completely flush with the body of the unit. And then there's a little hole to pull it out there. The handle seems rugged enough. It's really the body of the actual record player that's flimsy, in my opinion. Like, that's just a overly lightweight plastic. Okay, let's go ahead and open it up. We just push in gently on this tab. It's literally just a piece of plastic. There's no like hinge or anything there. It's just a tab of plastic. So cheap things like that, it's just like, why? You know what I mean? So the lid lifts up and away. And before we get to the turntable itself, I want to take us back to this lid a little bit. And I want to show you something. If you rotate it forward and then lift up, it comes off by design. Oops, almost dropped the record player. That would have been the end of it right there. It comes off and you'll notice these little areas here. These are designed to hold your records. These are for double albums. They're thicker. And these are for single albums. So the idea is you take the lid off like that, then you get yourself, the records that you want to listen to. This one's it's a gatefold, so it's a little thicker. And then you can use this to hold your records. Yeah, I get the idea, but have I ever done this? Never in any context outside of demonstrating this turntable. It's an interesting idea. But, when you pack this thing up to go, you can't store your records. See what I mean? It's just like, it would be cool if there was a slot underneath it or something to put your records, but having it in the lid doesn't make this something that appeals to me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But it's an interesting idea. Now, the turntable itself has a rubber platter mat, and those 3 rubber nubs that are on the these kind of cheap plastic platters that we see all the time? That is the same basic Skywind type of platter, not mechanism, but platter. And those rubber nubs usually just have like a little, place with a tripod underneath the record kind of deal. This is interesting. So they've used those openings to adhere this rubber platter mat down to. That's where it's kind of attached. So that's cool. I think that's better than just having the record on plastic and better than having it on 3 nubs of rubber. There is an E-clip there if you want to take that off. Obviously, this is a belt-driven turntable, and back here is where the motor is going to be. It's just going to be a, very, very entry-level mechanism. But what makes this great and what makes us different and worthwhile of us talking about it, especially twice, is down here. We have a magnetic, not a ceramic. We have a magnetic cartridge instead of the red tip ceramic. This arm looks similar to like a regular suitcase player. It's a little different, but it's got, an aluminum tone arm. It's got a fixed head shell. It's got either a weighted or a spring-loaded counterbalance, and it looks very, very similar. It's attached to the platter kind of deal, but the difference is this magnetic cartridge. It has an Audio-Technica 3600L on it, which is a big step up. Now, you can't replace the cartridge, but for this type of a portable, you would need to. You can replace a stylus, which is the white plastic housing and obviously the needle underneath, and that's all you would need to do on a unit like this. And with that and a good speaker system that this has, this thing sounds phenomenal. And we're going to give it a listen here in a minute. It is a 3-speed turntable. It does have the auto stop. It's got a cueing lift, all of that good stuff. It comes with a basic, cheap 45 adapter. And by the way, 45 adapters.
Have you ordered your official Record-ology 45 adapter yet? Check out the link in the video description below.
So we have reactivated our eBay store. Links are down below. We will always have our signature orange 45 adapter, but making its first appearance here on Record-ology is our new limited edition 45 adapter. We had the purple one before, which has been erased from existence, and now we have our limited edition Guava colored one. It's sort of a green and pinkish purplish one. It kind of changes colors depending on the angle, and both of these adapters are for sale. For anybody within the United States, check out our links in the links in the description, and it's on our About tab. It's just in different places all over the channel where you can purchase that. So, go ahead and replace that 45 adapter as soon as you do that. So continuing on down here, we've got the Victrola branding, and this is kind of cool. This is, like I said, this is the power switch and the volume control. This record player talks to you when you turn it on. So let's press and hold here.
Battery full. Vinyl.
First thing it does is tell you what the battery status is. So I just charged this, and so it said battery full, and then it said vinyl. Now, as we go through the different modes, it'll say a different thing for the different modes.
Vinyl stream.
Vinyl stream is the Bluetooth transmit functionality.
Connected.
So it connected to a speaker, and it is going to transmit that audio to that Bluetooth speaker. Pushing it again.
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth mode. Now this is Bluetooth receiving mode. So this is where you connect your phone and you can listen to your phone's audio on the speaker. So it receives and transmits Bluetooth, which is a good thing, because as soon as you put Bluetooth on the box to any record player, people get very confused. They're like, well, can I hook up my phone? Well, I want it to send to my headphones. Can I transmit it to my speaker? They don't realize there's two things of Bluetooth. You have receive and transmit. This one does it both.
Vinyl.
And then back to vinyl mode. So this is the logic, basically the, toggling through the switch capability and the voice chip and all that stuff. It's got some sort of voice synthesizer in it. So that is what would necessitate that reset switch if this got gummed up somehow. I would also like to point out that, especially with the lid off, this thing looks kind of ugly. This is not a good looking record player per se. It has no personality. It doesn't look cool. It doesn't look like it's anything but a functional design. It looks like it was designed for use, not for looks. Now, some of you may be saying, well, that's exactly what we want. That's what we want. We don't want, kind of kitschy looking retro stuff with chrome corners and suitcases and all this stuff. We just want something that functions. I would agree with that to a degree, but at the same time, couldn't we design it to look a little cooler than this? This is just like a blob. It's just unimpressive to me. It's just not impressive to me. But that's, again, my opinion. We're going to use the Future Sound Shock record. This is the stereo version, not the quad version, on Project 3. People said the other night on the other video, they liked me saying the catalog number. So PR5077SD. And if we look at the back, if you don't have this record, pick it up. It is a fantastic sonic experience. And it just so happens to be very copyright friendly for demonstrating record players. So it gets featured a lot on this show. I was given the quadraphonic version, which is backwards compatible to stereo. And then I found this immaculate stereo version. So, we've been using this as well. So going to go ahead and put the record on just like that. If you remember, it said we are in vinyl mode. I'm going to make use of the cueing lever. The descend is pretty gentle, although this gimbal is just as janky as a suitcase player. It's got a very cheapo lift shelf, but it's functional. And like I always like to remind people, if your records are skipping, make sure you push down gently on that lift shelf to make sure it's down and out of the way. Sometimes the gravity from simply flipping this down doesn't lower it all the way, and the tone arm hangs up on there, causing the record to skip. That fixes about 99% of skipping record problems. So remember to do that. Fully manual except for the auto stop. So if we engage the auto stop, as soon as it gets to the center of the record, it will stop the record. So if you fall asleep listening to records, I don't think I've ever done that, but you could, and not worry about this thing carving a donut in your record at the end of the night because it's been spinning. It will shut itself off. Let me go ahead and flip off the microphone and put on the front-facing stereo mics, and we'll give this a little bit of a listen. Sound is very rich, very full. It's actually surprising for the size of speakers that this thing has.
Those big blue eyes that turned up nose, that cool and carefree pose. I may regret this, yes. I mean, I like your style.
Sounds really good to me. I think it sounds fantastic. So boilerplate on this particular unit, it wins pretty big. I wouldn't say it's the best record player of all time. It has a couple of issues. Build quality is pretty bad. I mean, it is just cheap, lightweight materials. There's some cheap, chintzy things like I was talking about back here, the gimbal, and it's not durable. It doesn't look good, in my opinion. That's subjective. But where it wins, and it wins this in a big way, therefore tipping the scale towards a yes, is in its sound quality. It sounds so good. It sounds amazing. And as long as that battery holds out, it is incredibly portable, and it's a great turntable. It's my go-to portable turntable because I like the idea I can have magnetic quality audio with a magnetic cartridge on the go. It's not the only or the first portable that we've reviewed with a magnetic, but I think it's the first battery operated one that we have. And it just does a great job of playing records. It plays records very, very nice. All right, my friends, and that is going to do it. As you can see, still a fantastic turntable. Still the best portable in terms of sound quality that you're gonna find out there. So I do still recommend it. Put a link down below if you want to snag one. I want to hear from you in the comments down below. What is your favorite portable turntable of all time? Let the world know down in the comments, and don't forget to give us that thumbs up. Well, my friends, that is going to do it for today. So happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.